Hello, I'm EnterElysium, and this is This Wall of Mine. This is a game that isn't out yet. It will be coming out fourth quarter of this year, so more towards sort of the end of the year. It will be on Steam, and this is going to be basically me looking at it in advance. So not all the features are in here. The version I have is actually limited to the first 12 days. Because a lot of it isn't finished or fleshed out yet. But it looks very promising. Now, it is some sort of survival, slightly strategic game that reminds me kind of a lot of Safe House Diaries, which is a game that I kind of liked, actually. So if we just go in there, loading. It's set in basically any sort of generic war-torn area. It kind of is a little bit troubled considering all the things going on at the moment, but you basically play a group of civilians trying to get by, basically having to, try and get enough food, try not to, freeze, and basically survive and, defend yourself from other scavengers and so on. So if we just begin here, you can see it's got this lovely sort of, I don't know what you call it, like, pencil kind of effect. Sort of this hash effect that looks like it's been drawn on. Very stylistic. I kind of really dig the aesthetic of this game. And so here we go. Here is our lovely, lovely house. And we have 1, 2, 3 people. I think we have 3. I don't think we've got a 4th. I have had a 4th before when starting this up. It is pretty random pick of people. So we've got 3 people. How long's the siege lasted? It's hard to tell. Basically, it's like, oh, here we go. Bruno and Mark have been good friends. When the war broke out, they stuck together, and they met Pav, where scavenging supplies. He used to be a football player, now he's just a homeless victim of war. So, there we go. He's starting to feel unwell, so he's feeling sick. Marko is wounded, right. So you start off with a random selection of survivors, and the survivors have, their own little skills. And they also start off with a couple of traits. So we've got, someone who feels a bit sick and someone who feels a bit wounded. So we'll have to actually look into trying, get some bandages or get some medicine. So click continue there. And you see that, here we go, Pav is a fast runner, but he's slightly sick. Bruno is a good cook. And Marko is a skilled scavenger. Okay, so Marko, which is this one here, should be doing all the scavenging. So, can you open that door? No, it's locked. Right, so it's a locked door. So we need a crowbar, or we need, something else like I assume a lockpick, I think it is. So we'll get other people to do other things. So good cook, you can come down here and have a look at that, I guess. And you're a fast runner. Can you? You can open that. Okay, cool. Actually, there's nothing behind this, so that's kind of pointless. But this is how it works, basically. You can click on these things to do actions in the world. So, here we go. We're at the simple workshop, and we can't build anything because we have none of the components. So, as you can see, you can build things like a bed. You do really need a bed to start off with. It's a great place to get some rest. Otherwise, people are kind of lying on the floor, and they get poor night's sleep. Chairs, simple heater, radio. Kind of a lot of these useful things. Now, first of all, like, you'll be wanting beds and crude stoves and so on. And then, you've got these consumables. And then, of course, you get the bits to do that by scavenging. So, Pav can open that door, and we can walk inside. So, left click makes you walk, right click, you run. You make more noise when you run, though. There's nothing in our fridge. That is very, very sad. So, go to there. You should open that, I guess. Oh, there we go. We've looked through here and we can grab all of this stuff. So what we've got here is we've got components, we have clean water, and a load of wood. So we're going to grab all. Now, there's a limited amount you can carry, but when you're in your own home, you sort of have this shared inventory. Someone should search for supplies at night. And this is getting into the old mechanic, which is when it gets to night time, you get to search for supplies and you go out and get to raid the nearby area. Of course, that can be problematic when, there are people around who, well, let's just say they also want your stuff, and they aren't very polite about asking. Was that door locked? No, it's open. Okay. So I think we should basically get the person who's good at supplies to look for supplies, because I think the person who's good at scavenging to look for stuff, because I think they find more. So grab all of that. We've got some herbs and electric parts. Okay. Pav's still looking through there. You should have a look through here. And you should, keep moving through that. Now, these rubble piles are more stuff. Ooh, and books. Okay. Now, rubble piles are kind of annoying. They take time to get through. They're a lot quicker to get through if you have a shovel, if you've made yourself like a shovel, but unfortunately we haven't made ourselves a shovel. We don't have the stuff to make a shovel, so we're going to be busy doing all the boring standard stuff of running around and just looking through whatever we have and getting very slowly through the piles. So Marko's just going to be doing all the scavenging, since he'll get more stuff, I believe. If we look at his bio... Ooh, that's nice. More stuff and some water. Placeholder. Okay, so he doesn't actually have a bio yet. So yeah, some of this is, of course, placeholder. It is, of course, a game that is very early on. I'm surprised I actually managed to get a copy this early. It'll be coming 4th quarter, so that's locked, okay. Just going to wait for that to be done. That one down there needs that one as well. Come on, I want to find out what's in the wardrobe. Don't need food yet, so we're going to have to send someone out on a scavenge tonight and just hope that we don't go somewhere that there's, you know, someone defending. I think you will always start off with a place that you can go to scavenge that doesn't have anyone to defend it, just to let you have a little start, but... Alright, you should clear out... Oh, we've got a lockpick and some parts. Right, so we can pick this door, but then we need to pick this, because this is a lockpick symbol. I don't think we'll try that, because it just means we need 2 lockpicks. We've only got the 1. Lockpicks get used up after each time you bust into something. So if Pav goes down here and moves that, and Marko should look through that, since no one's looked through that yet. And yeah, Bruno can do this. We could go through that door. That might not be a bad idea. And we found more stuff. Oh, including some food. Right, so we've got food and some water. That's getting pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. So we've got a nice amount of water. And water's pretty hard to get hold of sometimes. Often one of the best places to get hold of water can be via, like, someone will occasionally come by, and this person will be like, I want to trade with you. And if you've got some stuff that's, you know, valuable for trading, then you can trade with them. And you can, you know, generally get kind of a lot of stuff. And often they'll trade, like, large amounts of water, and that tends to be the way I get a lot of my water. Right, now what we want to do with you, yeah, we could lockpick this door. Actually, no, we'll want to lockpick this, since we're going there. So yeah, Marko's slightly wounded, and we don't have any, you know, this is herbal drugs, this is bandages, and this is actual, you know, medical drugs. So we don't have any of those yet, so that's going to be kind of annoying. Slightly sick and slightly wounded, both of whom are going to be slightly less useful. I think if we watch them move, they move slower? Or is it not for slightly wounded? No, it doesn't seem to be moving slower. But when they get, like, really heavily wounded or really heavily sick, or, you know, they're exhausted, they move much so, and they really show it on their character. So you don't really want to let it get to that stage if you can avoid it. Now, let me show you, this is how you lockpick. You just open it the way you normally would do, but the lockpick is, oh, we didn't actually manage to finish it. Okay, so it's nighttime. So this is nighttime. Now you get to plan what you do for the night. Now this is where the first complaint comes in that I've got, in that, in theory, you could send everyone to scavenge, but the game doesn't let you, okay? Like, why can't I send loads of people to do scavenging? Why can't I go, like, 2 people go together? Isn't that safer? Or maybe, you know, 2 people to different places? The game won't let you. It's, I guess, for balance reasons, but it is a little bit annoying. It just kind of... The game doesn't give you a reason why you can't do that, so... I think we should probably let you go, because you've got 15 in your slot in your backpack. A lot of people have different amounts in their backpack, so 12's not bad, 15 is pretty damn good. That's the highest I've had so far. 10 is pretty bad. So I think we'll let you guard, since you're not sick. You can sleep, and you can do the scavenging. Yeah. Okay, so we've got 3 options here, and more get unlocked over time. So there's a shelled cottage, which has some food, huge amounts of materials, some meds and parts. Honestly, it's great to start off with. Huge amount of materials seems like something we definitely want to begin with. And garage has loads of stuff, but caution advised. Does it say something about it? It was a decent family business, impulse, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it doesn't say anything about anyone there, but it's caution advised, so there probably is someone there. Decrepit squat. It's been inhabited by the Homers since long before the war. They've always been struggling with the lack of food. I wonder if they've survived the recent shortages. Huge amounts of materials. Okay, so I think the shelled cottage is the best way to go. Huge amount of materials. Prepare. And then you get to choose what you take with you. We could take, like, a shovel, a crowbar, a knife, a gun. Of course, if you have a gun, then you've got to take ammunition, and you've got to manhandle the fact that each bullet you use is a bullet you lose. But we have nothing to take with us. I mean, unless we're going to trade something, and we don't think there's anyone here. At least we're not hoping. We're hoping there's no one there because, if they're there and they actually want to fight us, then uh-oh. That said, people do have different responses to you. I've had moments when I've basically gone to a place and end up with like a load of armed people right out front and gone, oh crap, I'm so dead. And they've just gone, hey, don't worry, come on in, there's plenty enough for both of us. And I was like, wow, that's really nice. And that is something that I think the game really gets across really well, is that there are a lot of different attitudes. It's not everyone hates you. It's not the game is out to kill you. It's that, people are just trying to get by. And of course, there are some people who will just want to be able to screw you over. But, genuinely, there are some people who are like, yeah, there's enough. We don't need it all. Come, help yourself. Which I think is kind of cool. There we go. Herbal drugs. Oh, some bandages. Right, we need them. Grab all of that. And I think our inventory's full. We could probably stack up a little bit higher. So we'll just have a quick look around. I'd kind of like to be able to get a little bit of food. Here we go. This is sugar and this is water. Now, sugar and water can be used to make alcohol, and alcohol sells really well, or at least trades really well. But there's a bunch of food as well. I'm really liking the idea of this. So we need the medicine and we need the bandages. We could get rid of parts, but honestly, I'm going to get rid of gunpowder because you can use it to make bullets, but right now we don't have the tech to really use the bullets, so I probably want this to get started on the alcohol. Having something to barter is very useful. I don't need bullets either. And I think I will take some canned food because I don't know if I'll have time to actually make some, cooking stuff, so people will be eating out of cans. We'll come back here. By the way, stuff is persistent, so you can always come back and get stuff later. And places are procedurally generated, so, this house I've never been to before, despite the fact that the houses on the map seem to be laid out in the same way. The actual, interiors get pretty randomly distributed, which is kind of nice. It means that you've got a different story each time. So let's go back. MARKO is back. And day 2. And see, they say these things. Like, often they say, oh, I had a brilliant haul last night. I got a load of stuff. I wish every night could be like that. But now, because we've got bandages and we need bandages, it's like, okay, cool. Let's have a look at curing some wounds. So we've got a wound, slightly wounded. So let's get a bandage. You are tired and hungry. Okay. You slept poorly. You're slightly sick. So yeah, you should take that. And you aren't doing anything. So let's actually make something. And I'm thinking we need to make a bed. First thing first, everyone needs to be able to sleep. So a bed it is. There we go. We've got 43, and it will require 6. We've got 25 wood. It requires 8. So make a bed. And then you can choose where to place it. So you can basically, do the Sims thing of outlaying the house of your dreams, except kind of not the house of your dreams. Which I kind of like the system. It really does take a dig out of those... I don't think it's an intentional dig, but it is kind of a dig at those sort of Sims games where it's basically sort of the middle-class white person dream of, oh, you just have a house and you have kids and you get married and no one gets sick or anything and you have this lovely house. And this is just people trying to get by in a war-torn environment. And yes, you can build a shoddy bed out of some old bits of wood, but this is just a dolly house. It's kind of got missing walls and all that jazz. Which I really love. I love the idea. I love the aesthetic. I love how it's sort of this art style. I have no idea what the art style is called. I really should. There's a Photoshop filter for it, which I can use occasionally. But come on. So he's slightly sick now on meds. So normal medicine, like the proper medicine, works 100% of the time, but herbal medicine only occasionally works. So we don't know if it's going to clear up. And that was our only dose. So... unfortunately. Now, I kind of want to send out MARKO again, but he is tired, but I think it's fine to send him out again. That said, Oh, here we go. We've got an item to craft, and I think it's going to be a crude stove. We've got enough for that, haven't we? Yeah, we have. So make the crude stove, and then we get to place it somewhere. And I'm thinking we place it in the kitchen, because, you know, that makes sense. Marco is going to be going out tonight again, so we want Marco to maybe get a bit of sleep now if he can. And Bruno is a good cook. Good for you, Bruno, but unfortunately, you know, we haven't got that much to cook. We've got a couple of tin meals, so enjoy them. Now, one thing I do want to make, I want to make a distillery, and I also want to be able to make a rainwater collector, and eventually we'll get on things like the metal workshop, which allows you to make a couple more things. Radio's pretty good, it gives you some information and so on, and we'll need things like filters and fuel and so on to be able to use these. So filters are used in the distilling and the rainwater, and fuel is used in a number of things, I think in the distillery and in the cook stove. I'm a bit confused why rainwater really needs a filter. Rainwater is pure. I guess we're maybe not collecting it in a decent receptacle, but kind of like, you know, you'd think you'd make a decent receptacle kind of aim one for when you build a rainwater collector. But oh well. So, right, now we need maybe a moonshine still. I kind of like that, just so you can trade. Problem is, we only get one or the other because we've got 5 components there. We have enough water to get by. So I'm thinking probably going to go with the moonshine still, just get that up and running. Might be a bit early, but I want to place it near the door because that's where you trade, so there we go. And I kind of want to keep Marco in peak condition, so I should get Marco to eat some of the canned goods. And Pav should also try and eat something, I think. He is hungry, and he's slightly sick, so maybe just, you know, keep him well fed will help against that. What have we got left out of our stuff? So you can see we've only got 13 there, we've got 6 wood, no more components, and we've got a little bit of sugar though, so I think, you know, that's the aim for today. Marco needs to go back to sleep. And then we click the distillery, and here we go. We can make moonshine. Promise we don't have enough fuel. So we can only make 1 moonshine even if we had the fuel, because we don't have a multiple of 3 higher than 5. Higher than 5. 5 is just 1 multiple of 3 in there, so we can only make 1 load of moonshine. But if we get some fuel, so you can create fuel from this sort of scrap, or you can create fuel from wood. We create it from wood. Bear in mind, you can also create from books, but books are also good to have around because it makes people happy, or at least keeps away the depression. I don't think it's really possible to be happy in this place. It doesn't look like a happy place. Right, so did you finish making that? Yeah, you did. So we can make the moonshine here. So click make, and you'll start making it. Oh, we've got a chair. That's nice. Something, at least. There we go, and see that the moonshine is now brewing. Now, I think that's all we can really do for today. I'm going to go and advance the next day. So, if we look at 15 Marco, he's no longer tired because he got a nice sleep, so he's going to be scavenging again. Is anyone here tired? Slept poorly, slightly sick, but there we go, you're tired, so you should sleep. And I actually want to put someone on guard, so Pav's going to be on guard. So we'll go back to the shelled cottage and finish that off. And no, you don't want to take anything. Now, one thing I do really like, and I don't know if I get to show you it in this video, is people's state of mind and emotional well-being. So, if you end up basically killing a load of people and stealing their stuff, people start to feel bad, and people can have nervous breakdowns, people can get depressed. That's a lot of sugar, that's really good. That'll be really good for moonshine. And when people get depressed, they aren't as useful, they have little tantrums when they're trying to build stuff. And when people actually like go all the way and then they end up completely broken, they can't do anything, they cannot act at all. They cannot go on scavenging missions, they cannot do anything actually in the apartment itself, they just sit there. And that's really not good, especially if they get injured, because they cannot like bandage themselves, they cannot take medicine. I think that's a problem. I do think you should be able to forcibly bandage someone, but maybe that'll be changing. Maybe it's just an alpha feature. As I said, this is a very preview copy of the game. Do I want... Yeah, I want the more wood. What can I get rid of for wood? I could get rid of gunpowder and come back for it later, I guess. Yep. Oh, okay, that's fine. Let's run to exit. And day 3. Sweet, so we had a good haul, look what I got, etc. And there we go, bunch of stuff. Cool. Now we need to click this to be able to get the moonshine out. There's nothing more to tear down in the district, so the military lost interest. Okay, that's explaining why the military aren't here right now. I'm thinking we use you to create a cooking stove. Marko, if you go to sleep now... Yeah, maybe if Marko sleeps during the day... Actually, no, he should probably eat. Oh, it's okay, we'll make some food for him. And then he can go sleep. We want a cook stove. Make. Oh, wait, no, we already made a cook stove, didn't we? What are we wanting to make? We want to make a metal workshop. Do we have a cook stove? I swear we have a cook stove. Oh, we don't have a... Yeah, we don't have a rainwater collector, that was it. And unfortunately we don't have any of these parts, so... for now I might have to lay off on that one. Now, I think I'm going to go with a metal workshop so I can try and maybe make a weapon and show you how that all works. Place it next to this, so I've got all the workshops in the same place. And Pav is no longer sick, so the dubious medical drugs did their job, which is nice. Pav's bio is flashing, so Pav, day 3, all this shelling, sniper fire, lack supplies makes you want to hide away, sit down and cry. We cannot let them crush our spirit. We have to show them they can't take away dignity. It's difficult here, but you know how we did on... there we go, he's just basically saying, you know, we'll carry on. Now, you also have these other stats up here. So, you know, time goes throughout the day. If you run out of time, it goes to nighttime. But you have this temperature thing. And one of the things I think will come up, but hasn't come up yet because I've only got 12 days to play in the press preview, is that eventually that'll start getting colder as we get to winter. And as it gets colder, you'll need to start burning stuff in a stove to keep people warm, to make sure people don't freeze to death. Someone's at the door. Pav, you're in the right area. Oh, is he going to sell stuff? Is he? Oh, he wants to sell stuff. We should probably make moonshine. How many more moonshine can we make? We can make 2. If we burn a couple of bits of... Yeah, I'm cool with that. Can you open the door, please? I have no bad intentions. Do we trust... God damn it, making me paranoid already. It's like I'm playing Daisy or something. Yeah, go answer the door. And, yeah, make 2 moonshine. My district got shelled while I was working my night shift at the local warehouse. I helped to clear the rubble and get the survivors out, but we couldn't save everyone. When I got home, I found the ruins. Can I stay with you sometime? Looks to me you could use a strong pair of hands. Yeah, I'm cool with a 4th guy. Now, you do have these options where you can turn them away, you can just go back to the main screen, or you can just say okay. Now, the issue is, you know, having extra person, it's extra mouth to feed, and because you can still only send one person on missions, you can't really team up and go on missions, or you can't really split your forces and cover more ground. It doesn't really help having more people. So that's something I do think they need to give you a reason for, like, why can't you send out more than one person at night? Because it does get very prohibitive by having large parties. But, you know, I understand it for game balance purposes. And let's say okay, right? Let's have him. What's he do? Strong but slow, slightly wounded. Okay, well, yeah, sure. Help yourself to a bandage. See, he's a little bit slow. We should probably close the door. That would be a good idea. Why are you not bandaging yourself? We need food and water. Yeah, we can't afford to make any food. That's annoying. I kind of used all the water making booze. I'm sorry. Now, we could eat the food like it is, just, you know, a bit of raw meat on a bone. It's not the best of ideas, I think. So let's have a quick look at what we can build at the metalwork station. Now, both of these, by the way, can be Oh, you're rested. Excellent. Can be upgraded, and by upgrading them, you get to make like more stuff. Now, upgrading stuff, something like the stove allows you to make stuff more efficiently, cheaper. But we can actually make a crowbar, and that is something I do want to make right now, because it'll allow us to basically open up some of these doors and get into places in our own house that we haven't been able to get into yet. So, just doing that quickly. And by quickly, I mean, you know, slowly over the course of a couple of hours. And boop. So crowbar this. Now, crowbars do break over time. The older video game system of, you know, crowbars break, lockpicks break, because apparently, you know, nothing lasts forever in video games. There we go. Open that. And then if Pav opens that, and by open I mean, you know, forces it, because what else are you going to do? And then if we force that open with a crowbar, and I'll get Pav to go through this. And we should finally be able to find out what's in this cabinet that's been hiding us for so long. Bandages! Some water, a book, and some herbs. They were really hoarding these bandages. And medical supplies are really, really kind of rare and very valuable. If you get someone trading with you, medical supplies are worth kind of a lot. And rightly so in this game. They kind of makes a lot of sense in a war-torn sort of place like this. Now, as you can see, here's my only real complaint about it. And it's not even really a complaint, because it's, you know, a very much a 12 days early sort of prototype thing that I'm playing. In that it could just be any generic survival. Okay, this could be a zombie survival game in mostly how it plays out so far. That said, I imagine as, you know, the game progresses and you get slowly towards the military retaking the city, that there will be more sort of you know, war kind of events going on that maybe you'll have to decide in. But also, I think it's actually kind of nice, maybe. There is a flip side to saying it looks like a zombie survival game, in that it's saying, yeah, like in real life, civilians trapped in war zones are basically living out your zombie survival game. It's to some people, it's real. And that I can kind of get behind. It's an interesting angle to take on it. It's not a way I expected to think about it until I made the statement. So here we've got ourselves a herb, a bit of water, and a gem. It's not a gem, it's just a piece of jewellery, but it's a valuable bartering item. Now, honestly, in sort of a post-apocalyptic zombie or war-torn environment, I don't know quite why I'd be valuing a gem that highly. Honestly, medical supplies and so on would be a lot more use to me. I guess some people are just hoping the war ends pretty soon and they can cash in all the valuable gems that they hoarded at the expense of their limbs. And nighttime. We didn't get to get into that last cupboard, which was a shame. Ooh, Boris. He's strong but slow. He's got 17 slots. That's pretty good. So we'll send him to scavenge, because I think everyone else could do maybe, you know, having a bit of sleep. So you sleep in the bed because you're tired. Everyone else is just a bit hungry or whatever. So I think, actually, you know, there are some parts, some material there. Actually, I think we might need to risk going somewhere else, because we need food. Some food. No food. Okay, so we need to go to the garage. I think we need to send Boris. And let's just hope it works. So I'm actually getting MARKO to sleep, and I'm going to put Bruno on guard, mainly because MARKO I think is a bit more valuable. He's our second scavenger, because Boris, you know, is going to be a primary scavenger with 17 slots. He's slow, though, and MARKO will be 15. So let's go for that. And let's just hope we get some food, because everyone's a little bit hungry. Ready? Caution is advised. We could take a crowbar. Yeah, I'll take a crowbar. Now, there we go. In combat mode, we are now wielding the crowbar as a weapon, and then we're back to scavenge mode. So let's quickly grab a few first things. So up here. Okay, we're not going to go up. Okay, so let's grab that. We're going to go up via the ladder. Sometimes you can jump up like that, but it seems to be a bit arbitrary sometimes. Let's just grab all of that, and we'll make decisions when we get to suitable decision-y points. So I'm choosing to use the left click to move, not right click to move, because I don't want to make too much noise if there's someone around. And caution was advised for this area. Aha, here we go. Weapon parts. So various weapon parts, blades, barrels, springs, locks, and so on. That would be something towards making a knife or whatever. very rudimentary weapon. Currently, if anyone actually attacks our lodge, our home, then we have the issue that no one can actually really defend themselves very well because no one on the defense actually has any weapons. And here we go. Here's a hiding spot, right? Hey, you, I need some meds for my father. Got some? No. Not on me. Nope. Can I go past him? Yeah, I can go past him. And there's... Oh, that's the father there. Let's see. What will he trade? Our items of trade. What do you want? Whoa, they've got kind of a lot of stuff. Advanced tools. A toolbox for technical... Filters. Sugar. Now, normally I'd just come back with, like, you know, some bandages or whatever, because we do have some at home. But since I think that, you know, we've demonstrated this game enough for now for our preview kind of purposes, we're gonna be evil. And if we survive it, then we'll see the mental impact it'll take on Boris. Oh, crap, he's got a gun! Oh, we're dead. We're so dead. Oh, God! Going into combat mode is visible. I did not know that. You learn something every day, and Boris died. They have a gun. And in the night, we were raided. Someone came to take our stuff by force. Boris was killed while looking at supplies. MARKO slightly wounded. Someone tried to rob us. They didn't seem very determined, so they managed to only do minor damage. Too bad we had no weapons. MARKO was wounded, but the attackers didn't steal anything. Our guards are doing a good job. Boris was killed while looking for supplies. And then people are sad. 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 Boris did not return. We will miss him. You only met him the other day. Like, seriously, you've known the guy for about 4 hours. Anyway, this is a preview look at This War of Mine, a very topical game, and I think a very good strategy game, kind of survival-ish, and I kind of really dig it. And I do really like the art style on it. It may not be for everyone, because then again, I like Zafal's Diaries, and people told me that I was insane for that. But as it stands, I am really fancying this game. And I'll definitely be wanting to play more of it when the time comes it comes out on Steam. So, I'm EnterElysium. This has been This War of Mine. I'll maybe check a link below to it on the Steam page, but it will be coming soon on Steam. It's not possible to actually buy it at the moment, of course. Not even for pre-order. If you've liked the episode, please leave a like. And if you're not subscribed and you know, want to see more of this kind of stuff, please do consider subscribing. Stay shiny.